Alright, today's bake day. My loaves have been in the fridge for about 14 to 15 hours. I'm ready to bake. I'm going to leave them in there until oven is hot and ready to go. So first thing I'm going to do is just show you what I prepped. So I just have a couple cooling racks for the bread, parchment paper. For the dough, I'm going to put that in the Dutch oven. I got rice flour. I have my scoring lame. Here's just a rack that I can put the Dutch oven on when I take it out of the oven, and I can move my dough right there, right into the Dutch oven. So oven is off right now, but how I have this set up is Dutch oven is inside. I have it on a pretty low shelf just so the whole thing can fit in, and I can take the lid off without touching the top. I have a pizza stone in here as well. I've seen that this takes heat, it gets hot, and it distributes it evenly, and when the oven is open, when I take the lid off, it helps keep the heat on the Dutch oven. So that's it. That's pretty much my setup. I'm going to get this preheated to 500 degrees. Again, keep the Dutch oven in the oven while it's preheating. It's good that it's going to get real hot when you put the cold loaf in. Preheated, 500 degrees, ready to go. So I'm just going to start getting the dough ready. Getting my first loaf. Didn't rise too much in here. I have no feelings one way or another about that. Does seem to be sticking together real nice. I had to stitch this one across, but it's nice and flat. I don't really see too many bubbles, which means it's good. It's not, that would be a sign of overproof. So I'm just going to dump it. There's already rice flour on here from the proofing basket, and I'm just going to leave this as is. Some people like to sprinkle it with more rice flour because it doesn't bake with the bread, but it makes a nice contrast in colors. Very carefully. Here's my blade. So scoring is important because this is going to rise. It's going to expand in the oven. This is pretty tense out here, so it's going to need to go someplace. If you don't score it, it's going to burst or pop in some ugly way. You do effective scores, which are going to be a deep cut, and then some decorative ones. They do help expand, but they don't really go super deep. They look pretty. Nothing too fancy. And I'm going to do one long cut from about here all the way to the end. And this is going to be deep. This is what's going to create the ear on the bread. Once it is finished rising, it's going to pop up this way. So most of the expansion is going to come out towards this big score. So this is going to be basically on the side, and the ear will be right in the middle. I go deep and I go at an angle. I do this one last because it's deep and it does start falling out, and the dough just slowly move because you break the tension. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper. Just go along the same line. That's it. Now I'm ready to put this in the oven. Dutch oven's hot. Use our gloves. Alright. Ooh, hot. Put this on a little rack. And I'm going to put the lid somewhere where it's not going to cause any damage. And I take this, place in the Dutch oven. That's how it looks. It's really hot. Put the lid on this, and this is going to go in the oven with the lid on for about 25 minutes. 20 minutes can be a good time, depending on your oven, how hot it gets. Mine's pretty much exactly at 500, which is very nice. Alright, it's been 25 minutes. I'm just going to take the lid off, and then I'll give you a little look-see to see how the loaf looks. Look at that. I'm letting a lot of heat out, but look how much that rose. Look at that ear, it's in the dead center. And the color on this is pretty white. That looks a little darker is the ear. It's because it's the thinnest part, so it's getting the most heat all around it, so it's darkening up a little bit. When the lid's on, it's time for it to rise. When the lid's off, it's time for the crust to form, because the lid just keeps all the steam in. All the water that's in the dough that evaporates out of there stays in, keeps it nice and moist. As soon as you take the lid off, it all escapes. You can't really put the lid back on once you take it off either. The damage is done. Joey just got a little call. So this will be in for another 10 to 12 minutes, but this is mainly just how dark you want it. 8 minutes, it'll be fully cooked. But the longer you keep it in, the darker the crust is gonna get. Crust timer's up. Bread's ready to come out. It looks beautiful. You guys, look at this. It's a work of art in here. Oh yeah, that's pretty. That is pretty. Look at this. Look at this nice, beautiful loaf. Look at that rise. Nice little scoring cuts here. See, even on the end, it still burst open a little bit. It went outside of the scores. It wants to rise. It wants to rise. Yeah, you get to look at this for a little bit. All right, we got loaf number 2 coming in. Nice, beautiful, beautiful. A nice, good look at that. It's gonna look real nice in about 30 minutes. And then even better in 40. Slide this over. Yeah. Okay. And for the big score. It's looking real nice. Real nice. Dutchie's hot. Gloves. Can't burn the hands. And this goes right back in. See you in 25 minutes. All right, 25 minutes is up. This time, when I take the lid off, I'm also going to reduce the oven temperature to 450 degrees. To help form the crust. Oh, that's beautiful. That is. I'll put this over here. So it's down to 450. It'll be another 10 minutes. Still going to be nice and beautiful. I'll give you a close-up look of this one. See the rise on that loaf. Yeah, that looks really nice. Scoring came out decent. Ear dead center again. Very good. And let's see what our thermometer says. Oh, over 500 degrees. So yeah, dropping it to 450. Not a bad call. I'll see you again when it's time to take this out. I'll give you a look at both of the finished loaves. This is it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That is over here. I'll get my cooling rack. Look at this nice loaf. A little less dark than the last one. Scoring came out nice and pretty. Nice, beautiful ear. Let's look at that. Let's look at this piece of work real quick right here. Wow. Wow. Yeah, we like this bread. This is gonna be good. Delicious. Compare it to the other. You can see a clear difference in color here. On this side. This one I turned the temperature down. Still about the same amount of time. This was the first loaf, and this came out much darker. The ear just burned a little bit, but when you cut a slice of bread, you just get that piece off. These are going to be delicious. Let these sit on the counter for a couple hours before cutting into them. But it's really tempting to cut into one of these and eat it. But I'll wait. Yeah, when I cut it in half, you'll see the crumb. So I cut into my bread after it was done.
Wait, that's what your bread head looks like?
Wait, yeah, it just says bread. It literally is just bread.
Love it.
That's what I... So I cut into my bread earlier. Couldn't wait. Came out really nice. This was the second loaf. Look at this crumb. This beautiful crumb. I gotta make sure I get good lighting on this. Huge. This is like perfectly spaced out. It's very well proofed. This is about halfway through, so it's a good. You can tell that it came out nice. You gotta have a good bread knife, because that'll be pretty tough to cut otherwise. If this knife wasn't so nice. Henkels, thank my mom for this Henkels. Hard crust on the bottom. That kind of just broke when I bent it, but the rest of the bread on the inside is just very, very nice. It's super soft. Still make a good sandwich out of this. If I'm making a sandwich out of this though, I cut off this bottom crust. Right? Difficult. And this would make a perfect slice of bread. It's so nice. So, the strength. This beautiful, beautiful piece of bread right here. And I hope you like my bread video. Enjoy yours.